While watching the stream of Camille Paglia supporting her new book, Free Women, Free Men, Sex, Gender, Feminism, at the Brooklyn Public Library, she was asked specifically about what she thought of Jordan Peterson and his stance on freedom of speech by taking a stand against the government compelling people to use specific pronouns. Here's her response.
This professor refused to use the pronouns that are being requested or demanded by transgender activists.
Yes.
Okay. Well, more power to him, okay, is what I say, okay? This is getting ridiculous, okay? My PhD is in English literature, okay, from Yale, right? And I do not, and it's fine. Contribute to the language, okay? Write a poem, okay? Write a book, okay? Certainly, okay? Look at the way Gloria Steinem, her one great accomplishment is that she was a co-founder of Ms. Magazine, okay? All right? And there was a very important contribution made by Ms., okay? Because before this, unlike the Romance languages, in English, you had Mrs. or Miss, okay? So if you were unmarried at age 40, 50, 60, you were still called Miss in this very demeaning way. Whereas in France, okay, a young girl is called Mademoiselle. In the minute a woman, a person gets into her 20s, and after that, she's called Madame. Okay, whether she's married or unmarried, Madame, she has dignity, she has authority, right? And the same thing in Italian. You have your signorina if you're young, and then signora if you're old. It doesn't matter if you're married or unmarried. Okay, so Ms. was a very important contribution to the language. It took time to be absorbed. Okay, but this political agitation to change everyday common speech, are you kidding me? Okay, all right, people shouldn't be putting up with this for 1 second. What kind of nonsense is this? Absolute nonsense, okay? And these people who are searching for their own identity, okay, and want to impose on others, that is not my philosophy of the libertarian. That is an invasion and intrusion into other people's personal rights. So excuse us, the English language is owned, okay, by everyone, okay? It was created by great artists, Chaucer and Shakespeare, and Wordsworth and Joyce and so on. How dare you sniveling little, maniac, tell us how we're going to use pronouns. Go take a hike, I say to them. Okay, that's what I say. Okay, all right.
Here's how Jordan Peterson himself, in an earlier staged mock debate, explained the same type of concept.
You might think of the idea of Ms., because that's actually not a bad comparison, but I'd like to point out that there were never any legal penalties for not using Ms. ever, and language just doesn't change that way. It never changes by legislative fiat. That isn't how it works. It changes, especially in English. It's bottom-up process, because a word is a tool, actually. It's not a description for a thing. And what happens is that if you invent a good tool, any of you can do that, if you invent a word that fits, and all the linguistic monkeys out there are waiting for that tool, they'll pick it up just like that. And the truth of the matter is that no one's come up with that particular linguistic tool to solve this particular problem, and that's an indication that there actually isn't a solution to it yet, and that's partly because it's an exceptionally complicated problem. And so the idea that that should be solved in some sense by ill-conceived, ill-written, philosophically untenable legislation that has a, I would say, pathological and punitive philosophy at its base it's not a tenable proposition, and it's certainly not the law as it currently stands. So I guess that's that for my rebuttal. Thank you.
Remember, like and subscribe, but most importantly, leave comments and engage with others. Open discussion is always needed. If you have nothing valid to say,
ZeroFox given.